In C++, we can make operators to work for user defined classes. This means this means C++ has the ability to provide the operators with a special meaning for a data type. This ability is known as operator overloading. Fine. So what we want to do, basically in C++ we can make operators to work for user defined classes. This means C++ has the ability to provide the operator with a special meaning for a data type. So this ability is known as operator overloading. What I want to say that, say you have an object like this, say complex. Say you have an C1, C2, right? And C1 and C2 is containing some data. Fine. And what I will do here, if I write complex, complex C3 is equal to C1 plus C2, right? If I'm able to write this statement and execute this statement, right, it will work properly. Okay, it's looking like impossible it will work.
Not really, but what does complex mean?
Complex is a class and C1 and C2 is an object of complex class.
Then it does seem like it won't really work.
It seems like that it will not work. Fine. But if we overload the operator plus, right, to work for the objects, then it will automatically it will work, and it looks this idea looks fantastic.
So
Operators to work for user defined classes, and this means C++ has the ability to provide the operators with a special meaning for a data type, right? And this ability is known as operator overloading. Fine. So
okay.
here we have two objects, like complex is a class which contains some information, right? And C1 and C2 are the two objects, and I want to add these two objects. So you also know that key complex number, right? It has one real part and one imaginary part.
Yes.
Right? And if we want to add, we have to add both real with the real and imaginary with the imaginary. Right? So in the background, it will perform that thing. Okay, but in real sense, when a person is using your class, he will be much more obliged that he got this feature from you, right? So when, say for example, in Python there is a feature called there is a feature like this. Fine. In Python, so there is a data type called complex in Python. Fine. So if you declare complex type in Python, it will work. Okay. So it will work fine, and it will do the same. So this is Python, right? 3.7.5 shell. Most probably 3.8 will also start after this. Anyhow, so if you declare a variable like x equal to, in Python you don't have any data type, right? So x equal to 20 plus 10j, right? So happily it has created the variable, right? And if you type x over here, it will display 20 plus 10j. Right. So this feature is being added with the help of C++ program. If you write here, if you want to check the type of X, right? So I want to create this feature in C++. I'll show you how they have created it. So then it is showing class complex. What it is showing?
Class complex.
Class complex. That means X is an object of
Class complex.
class complex, right? So if you want to perform addition subtraction, it will work in that way also. So if you have written A is equal to say 10 plus say 5.2j, you have to write j is compulsory there. It will
Okay.
not accept the character I. In mathematics we have I, but here it is j
Yeah.
in Python.
Okay.
So this A is created, right? Now if you write here C is equal to A plus X, and you will find that it's working. And now if you type C, it's added the value.
Okay.
Okay. So I just want to show you how Python this data type is being created. Okay. So let me explain you this process. So it's quite easy in Python, right? It's a very easy language, one of the easiest language, and my favorite language. It is the best language for prototyping of a software, but not for implementation purpose. It's not good. Only the performance is down. So this is how it is working. So I have created a class called complex, and I'm creating object c1 c2, and then this object c3 is there, and when I'm writing c1 plus c2, so it works, right? So here what I'm doing here, I'm in the above example, in the above example, I am overloading. In the above example, we are overloading the plus operator, the plus operator, the plus operator, the plus operator. Fine. The plus operator in a class. Fine. So say for example, in C++ we have string class, right? And in string class, if in string class objects, right, if we write plus, it will be concatenating the two string, right? Even in C++ it also works. When you go here, I'm going to C++, and here I've written already written one example here, because I taught this topic to Anubhav also.
Okay.
So so I've written here string first name, fn is first name Anubhav, and last name equal to Bagri, right? So then what will happen it will be, if I write nm is equal to fn plus space plus ln, so it will be adding the first name with a space and then ln, concatenating the whole data, right, in one data called nm. And when I'm printing nm, it is printing Anubhav Bagri. Fine. So
Yes.
when I execute this code, when I execute this code, it will display me Anubhav Bagri. Okay, it will display me Anubhav Bagri. Fine. So this is how in string class they have already overloaded the plus function. That is why it is working uh, for other purpose. So we are going to design this class for our own purpose. Fine. So let me design a class complex. Private real and imaginary public complex int real equal to 0 and int imaginary equal to, let's make this variable double because it can store double value also. Double, and then here also we write double, and here also we write double, and then we can store the real to R and imaginary equal to I. Then we can write here complex. Complex. There is a keyword present here called operator, right? And we are overloading which operator? Plus. We write plus here, and inside the complex we write here complex, and then we write const, and then we write ampersand of complex objects, COBJ. What I'm doing here, I'm writing here complex result, then I'm writing here result dot real equal to result dot real equal to real plus COBJ dot real, then result dot imaginary equal to imaginary plus COBJ dot imaginary, and then I will return res. So I'm writing here complex, and I'm writing say C1, and here I'm passing the data. Fine, I'm passing here 10 comma and then 5, and in C2 I'm passing here 2 comma 4, right? And then I'm writing here complex C3 is equal to C1 plus C2. Okay, so it will add these two objects, right? And now I have to print the details, so I have to add another method here, void print. So here I'm writing cout slash n, cout slash n, and then printing the real value, then I'm printing plus, and then I'm printing the imaginary, imaginary, then I'm printing handle, and I have to print here one I, because in real life we use I, not J, like Python. So it will print the real and the imaginary part. Right? So if you like, you can print, you can write C3 dot print You can print all the values like c1 dot print dot print, right? c2 dot print print. So it's a very nice feature. Control S. Let's execute this. You can see that key 10 plus I5, 2 plus I4, and I have added this. So it's printing 12 plus I9. Okay. So there is another way to write the print function. You can write here string msg, right? And you can print the message here. You can write here msg, and then you can write here equal to, and then you can print. Fine. So here if you write down here value, and here if you write a result, so if you run this, print a value, a result, like that. So now in your head there might be a question, sir, if I declare more variables of complex, will it add? So if you write here comma c4, right, and you passed here yeah, you can pass here 0.92 comma 0.234, right? So you created this, and you are writing the statement like this here, c4. Okay, so it will add. Fine, control S. See, it has added, right? 10, 12, and that, because I've not printed the c4, so that is why it is not printing it, but it has added it, right?
Okay.
So you can add a innumerous object, right, by using this feature called operator overloading. Yeah. So what is happening here? So what is happening here, Suhit, when I'm calling this method, when I'm calling this, right? So what it is doing, it is calling something like this, C1 dot internally C++ compiler making a call like this, C1 plus in the bracket C2, right? Then about this one also the same thing is happening. This whole thing dot C4 dot C4. Got my point, Suhit? So this is how operator overloading is working. So this is the keyword. Operator is here keyword. Fine. This operator is the keyword. This is the keyword. This is the name of the function. This is the name of function, right? So operator keyword signifies that I'm going to use the function name as plus any operator symbol, right? And this is the return type. This is the return type. It depends upon us what kind of value we want to return. But here I want to return the complex type because it's performing addition, right? Sometimes we can write void also. That is not going to be it's not going to be matter whether we can what kind of return type we are going to use. These two things are important. This operator keyword and what operator you are using. Fine. Now there are other questions maybe in your head why I'm using here address of operator, right? Address of operator. Fine. So the reason is this, I don't want to create a new object, right? I don't want to create new object in my function. I want to use the same object created in the main function. Okay, so that is why I'm using address of operator and I'm passing all these values with the help of a reference. Fine. So I can use the original object. Clear? And and then I'm using const keyword also here, right? So there will be a question in your head, key why sir const, right? So I want uh, I'm making sure I'm making sure that this this function this function is not going to change, not going to change going to change the state of the change the state of the object, the state of the fine. So that is why const keyword is there. Okay, so it actually gives a guarantee to the user that your if you use this function, your object is safe, right? The data stored inside the object will not get updated or changed, right? The data will be used in the method. Okay, so rest of the things is self-explanatory to you because you are doing programming in C++, so it's easy to you to understand, right? This is how we overload the plus operator. Fine. So it's a very nice feature. What is the difference between what is the difference between operator function and normal function? Operator function and normal functions and normal functions. So the difference is that key operator functions are same as the normal function. The only difference are the name of the operator function. The only difference, the only difference, the only differences are the name of an operator function. The name of an operator function is always operator keyword, always operator keyword is operator keyword followed by symbol of operator, by symbol of operator. Fine. And operator function is called operator function is called when the corresponding operator is used. Operator is used. Fine. So we can create a friend function also with the operator, right? So let me show you something called friend function. So we can use a friend keyword right over here. Friend keyword, all right? And what I am going to do here, okay, let me copy this out. friend complex friend complex operator plus, and I'm writing here complex const ampersand comma complex const ampersand. So I can declare this function outside the class also, right? The global function. Okay. So I can write this here as complex. This function is returning the complex, right? And then operator plus, and then I'm writing here complex. Sorry. Complex const ampersand C1 comma yeah, I can write it down C2, and then here I'm just writing here return complex C1 dot real plus C2 dot real right? You can do that comma. This is the first parameter of the object. The second parameter is the imaginary. So C1 dot imaginary plus C2 dot imaginary. Not imaginary. I can write it in this way. Okay. So this will work over here also. I don't have to do anything. Okay. Control S. Return. See, it's working, right? So what is a friend function? A friend function is a friend of a class, and it's a quite a dangerous concept in C++. Friend, right? When you use a keyword friend to any of the functions, right? So that function can access the private data of the class directly. So that is quite a dangerous thing, friend, right? So this is a concept which is present only in C++, the friend kind of a concept. It's not present in all other operating systems, all other programming languages like Java or any other programming language like Python, Julia, or Rust, whatever. Fine. So this is a very new kind of an concept I taught you, K-friend concept, right? So this function is not is not sorry is not the member of not the member of class okay, but it is a friend of a class, because the class trusts this function and it's using it. Okay, so it's possible over here. You can declare any function as a friend function of a class. Fine. We can come in detail with the friend function because it's quite useful in C++, all right? But it is dangerous to use friend function because it is a global function, and global function are quite dangerous because they are exposed to the outer world, right? A hacker can also study about your global function and access the private data. So you have to be very much cautious using the friend function. Fine. So next question will be there. Let me paste this using global function and friend concept. Friend concept is used in the code. Fine. So next thing is that can we overload? Can we overload all operators? Operators. Fine. So we can overload all operators except few. Fine. Almost all operators can be overloaded except few. Except few. Right. The operator which are not overloaded means which cannot be overloaded are I can write here following is the list of operators that cannot be overloaded. Right. So number one is dot operator cannot be overloaded. Fine. Then scope resolution operator. Scope resolution operator cannot be overloaded. Then ternary operator cannot be overloaded. Fine. And we cannot upload size of operator. Okay. We cannot upload this. We cannot important points about operator overloading. Number one will be for operator overloading to work, at least one of the operand must be user defined class object. Number two is assignment operator. There is a small story about assignment operator. Right. Compiler automatically creates its default assignment operator with every class. It is like a default constructor, default copy constructor or default constructor assignment operator function is automatically created with every class. Fine. So the default assignment operator does assign the default assignment operator does assign all members of right side to the left side and works fine and works fine most of the cases. Fine. This behavior is same as copy constructor. This behavior is same as copy constructor, right? Conversion operator. We can also write conversion operator that can be used to convert one type to another type, one type to another type. Fine. So this is very nice concept, conversion operator, right? So we can convert one type to another type. Fine. Meaning is this कि sometimes we need to convert from object type to primitive type, and sometimes we need to convert primitive type to an object type. So it's like a kind of an wrapper class in Java, right? So here we can have conversion type. So let me show you one example how this works. Then it is better you can understand. So I'm writing program.
Okay. Good. Do.
Fraction.
Mm.
And fraction have integer numerator and denominator. Fine. So public fraction integer n comma integer of d. Here you have written and this is a special case, Sohit. What I'm doing here, I'm converting the fraction object into float type. So I have to write here float and this, and then I will write const. And here what I'm going to do, I will write here return. I'll convert numerator into float, right? And divided by float denominator. All right. So this is how it works. I'm writing here fraction. Say f. Say the fraction is a 2, 5. So 2 by 5 is how much? 0.4, right?
Yes.
So if I'll declare a variable here, float val equal to f. If I write here f, it will assign the object data to val, right? And if I write here cout cout slash n float value value, and if I write here val, so it will print the float value here.
Okay.
And so it's a very nice feature.
Yes.
It's very useful and nice feature. So float value 0.4. Fine.
Yes.
Understood this?
Yes.
So let me paste this, because I don't know what I have written. It's explainable to you or not. So I'm writing this code here. So this code will explain you. So this is the idea about conversion operator. So we can convert, we can create a utility kind of thing with the class, right? Because sometimes we need this kind of things. Say we are, you remember we have designed a class to solve fraction problems. Like we are
Yes.
adding two fractions, subtracting two fractions. Say you are designing a calculator, right? So in calculator, you are solving it in fraction, it's fine sometimes, but we need fractional value, right? So in that
Yes.
sense, in that case, it will be very much useful, this technique, right?
Okay.
So, so overloaded conversion operator. Acha, there is a rule here, overloaded. Let me write it in bold. Overloaded, overloaded conversion operator, conversion operator, overloaded conversion operators must be a member method. Member method. Full stop. Other operators can either be member method or global method, or global method. Fine. So next thing is any constructor that can be called with a single argument works as a conversion constructor. Fine. Any constructor that can be called with a single argument works as a conversion constructor. Means it can also be used for implicit conversion to the class being constructed. Fine. So let me show you one example of this thing, right? So go to C++. class point. All right. So point having two values here, right? So point having two values, say double x comma y, and public. I'm writing a constructor here. Point double x comma double y, right? And you can assign a value here equal to 0 or y equal to 0. So these are default values I've assigned it, and then I'm writing here this arrow x equal to x, and this arrow y equal to y, because the name of the variables are same here I've taken, so I'm using this pointer. So now I'm writing here void print. I'm printing the values cout slash n plus x comma y. So this is the print function. Now what I'm doing here, okay, I'm creating a point say t, and I'm writing here 20 and say 19. Then I'm writing here t dot print. Fine. Then I'm writing here t is equal to 30. Okay. Then I'm writing t dot fine. So this is a class, and when I will call this function t dot print, it will print 20 and 19. And when I will assign t equal to 30, then it will print 30 comma 0. All right. So now you can see that 20 comma 19 and 30 comma 0. So we can call the single argument constructor, right? You can call the single argument constructor that works as an conversion constructor. Means it can also be used as implicit conversion to the class being constructed. Fine. So this is what this statement is doing. This statement is recreating or reinitializing the object, right? And initializing the first variable, right? Initializing the first instance variable with this value, right? But if you think that if I give comma and I supply another data, it will not work. It will give you an error. It's not giving error. It's working. Fantastic. So it's working, but it is not assigning the next value. Maybe in future version it will start working. But I have used a long time back, so this is giving error, but now it's not giving error. It's just producing the output. Okay. So, but it has no meaning, so I'm removing it currently. Okay. So, so this is how it works, right? The assignment operator, and this is a special case, so I've shown you this code. So with any question regarding this?
Yes.
So with any question regarding this, or it is clear?
It's clear, sir.
It's clear. Okay. So let me write down the rules of operator overloading. Rules of operator overloading. Existing operators can only be overloaded. But the new operators cannot be overloaded. The overloaded operators, so we cannot create a new operator like with a combination of star and hash, right? So that kind of an operator we cannot create, right? Hash is also not an operator, right? So we cannot use hash uh, to to overload it, right? So what are the operators available in C++? We can use that only. Other operators are not allowed. Fine. So the overloaded operators, the overloaded operators, or operator contain at least one operand, of the user-defined data type. Fine. Next is we cannot use friend functions. We cannot use friend function to overload certain operators. Right? So there are few operators, right? We cannot use the we cannot use the friend function to overload it, right? However, member function can be used to overload those operators. However, the member functions can be used to overload. Say example, conversion operator overloading, right? We have to write the member function, otherwise it will not work. Fine. So when unary operator are overloaded through member function, when unary operators are overloaded, a member function take no explicit argument. But if they are overloaded by a friend function takes one argument. The next is when binary operators are overloaded through a member function takes one explicit argument, and if they are overloaded through a friend function takes two explicit arguments. So in the first example, you can see that when I'm using the friend function, I passed two arguments, all right, for complex. And in the first, when the function is a member function, then I have passed only one argument, right? In the first case. Fine. So these are the basic rules coming to my head now, and you need to follow these rules to overload the operators. Fine. So let me show you a few more examples to overload operator overloading. So, I have written something called new. New you can overload, not a problem. new operator, you can overload it, not a problem. Fine. New, delete, everything you can overload. This is a operator overloading, and let me show you one example of unary operator overloading. So and following are the examples of the unary operator. So the increment decrement operator. So increment operator is plus plus, and the decrement operators. The next is the unary minus and operator and the logical. So the unary operators operate on the object operators on the left side of, as in not obj, but we have postfix operations also, right? But sometimes they can be used as postfix. They can be used as postfix as well. Obj plus plus or obj minus minus. Fine. So following, I'm giving you one example how minus operator can be overloaded for prefix, right? And as well as post distance, integer of feet, and integer of feet and inches, public distance, Then if I write here minus d1, and if I write here d1 dot display distance, right? So what it will display here, right? And it will display minus 15 and minus 10. But if I write minus d2, okay, then what it will do, it will if I call d2 dot display, so it will make the distance positive because it will apply the minus symbol before these values, right? So you execute this code. So now you can see that it's displaying the f is equal to feet is equal to minus 15 and inches is equal to minus 10 and feet is equal to 5 and inches is equal to minus 10. Understood this unary operator. This example is plus plus operator, right? So how plus plus operator is used? This is an example code of unary minus. So let me show you another example of plus plus, right? Unary increment operator plus plus. Fine. So let's write this code on as integer. So here we have declared, here we are writing, so we are our need is to increment the value of num with 2, right? So we can write 2. So we can write here 2 and then we can write a function called void print here. This function prints the count. Cout. So we display the count. Now we create the object here, say integer say I, and if you write here plus plus I, it will update the value of I with 2 every time. So I dot print, so it will print the count.
Okay.
So if you write it multiple times, it will work. Error दे रहा है, क्या error है यार? ठीक है ना? समझ में आया तो फिर हम लोग प्लस प्लस ऑपरेटर को भी ऐसे ओवरलोड कर सकते हैं, ठीक है ना? बट यहाँ पे प्रॉब्लम क्या कि अगर मेरे को ये वैल्यू को किसी को असाइन करना हो, राइट, इसको अगर किसी को असाइन करना हो, जैसे मेरे को असाइन करना है इंटीजर ऑफ x इज इक्वल टू, मेरे को लिखना है जैसे x इज इक्वल टू 0 है और मेरे को लिखना है x इज इक्वल टू x प्लस 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 आई, ये लिखना है। तब यहाँ पे ये हमको दे देगा गड़बड़ी, बिकॉज इसका रिटर्न टाइप तो वॉइड है, ठीक है ना। तब हमको क्या करना पड़ेगा, देन आई हैव टू चेंज इट विथ इंटीजर।
ओके
इंटीजर जी यार, इंटीजर, तो वो मेरे को इंटीजर टाइप रिटर्न करेगा, ठीक है ना। तो एक प्रॉब्लम ये है कि आई हैव ओनली वन कंस्ट्रक्टर, सो आई हैव टू डिफाइन अनदर कंस्ट्रक्टर। जी यार, इंटीजर ऑफ से आई और कोलोन से num of I, ये कंस्ट्रक्टर बन गया, एंड देन आई कैन रिटर्न इंटीजर, और इसमें मैं num डाल दूंगा।
ओके
तो वो रिटर्न करेगा और वो काम कर जाएगा, ठीक है ना। सो लेट मी एग्जीक्यूट दिस कोड। तो अच्छा, उसको मैंने प्रिंट नहीं किया तो दिखेगा नहीं। ऑपरेंड टाइप्स आर इंट एंड
वो
इंटीजर।
x प्लस 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 आई की तो प्लस को डिफाइन करना पड़ेगा शायद।
नहीं, डिफाइन नहीं करना पड़ेगा, वो तो ऑलरेडी उसमें होता ही है। ये वाला प्लस के बारे में बोल रहा है ना। ये वाला प्लस तो ऑलरेडी उसमें रहता ही है, काम करेगा, प्रिमिटिव टाइप है ना। तो वो
मगर
तो वो रिटर्न कर रहा है ना। तो मैंने क्या किया कि मैंने इंटीजर टाइप में रिटर्न करा दिया ना। इसका टाइप करते हैं इंट।
तो फिर आपको ऊपर वाला भी चाहिए?
ऊपर वाला नहीं चाहिए, वो ठीक है, वो एक्स्ट्रा कंस्ट्रक्टर रह सकता है।
ओके
तो देखते हैं क्या है देता है। मेरे को काउंट दे दिया 4, ठीक है ना। तुम इसके बारे में सोच रहा था ना, हम वैल्यू जो है ना, वो फंक्शन जो वैल्यू रिटर्न कर रहा है हम उसको सेव कर भी सकता है और नहीं भी कर सकता है, ऑप्शनल होता है, ठीक है ना। अगर सेव नहीं करेगा तो वो लॉस्ट हो जाएगा और कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं। मतलब हम जब फंक्शन कॉल करता है ना, आई डोंट नीड टू सेव द वैल्यू द फंक्शन विच द फंक्शन इज रिटर्निंग, दैट इज ऑप्शनल, राइट। आई कैन सेव इट और आई कैन नॉट सेव इट। इफ आई डोंट सेव इट, दैट वैल्यू इज लॉस्ट, एंड इफ आई सेव इट आई कैन यूज द वैल्यू, ठीक है ना। जैसे यहाँ पे हम उसको यूज कर रहे हैं, तो वो 2 रिटर्न किया तो मैंने उसको यूज कर लिया, ठीक है। एक्स का वैल्यू 2 बार इंक्रीमेंट हो गया, एक बार पहले इंक्रीमेंट हो गया था प्लस प्लस आई की वजह से, और सेकेंड टाइम फिर से इंक्रीमेंट हो गया था प्लस प्लस आई की वजह से। तो वो काउंट का वैल्यू 4 दिया है। और मैं अगर एक्स का वैल्यू प्रिंट करूंगा,
क्योंकि काउंट प्लस प्लस आई 2 बार हुआ, तो इसलिए
काउंट 4 है। और मैं अगर एक्स का वैल्यू प्रिंट करूंगा तो वो एक्स का वैल्यू प्रिंट कर देगा, विच इज 4, ठीक है ना। क्लियर हुआ चीज़। तो काफ़ी पावरफुल टेक्निक्स है, ठीक है ना। काफ़ी कॉपी कर लेते हैं, सी और कंट्रोल वी, ठीक है। और स्वित इसमें और भी बहुत सारा टॉपिक्स है जो मैंने कवर नहीं किया है, जैसे प्लस प्लस, ये वाला तो तुम्हारा प्रीफिक्स वाला था, एक तो पोस्ट फिक्स वाला भी है, फिर माइनस, तो पोस्ट फिक्स वाला भी हम लोग कर सकते हैं, ठीक है ना। तो वो एक्चुअली पहले मतलब पोस्ट फिक्स के जैसे काम करेगा।